Okie dokie. Welcome back, Java. I was out of breath, man.
And I can truly say, Felder, that is the first time that has happened.
Well, here's hoping it's the last time. 'Cause I can't be doing all that kind of stuff. Anyway, I was out in the yard around the studio stealing stuff to talk about.
Yeah, that's it. So for people who may think you were running late or being derelict in your duties,
no.
You were here.
Yeah,
You just were outside.
That's right. But anyway, it's all good, man. It's all good. I've got a few things to talk about this morning. This Mardi Gras weekend.
Yeah.
And also
Fat Tuesday is next Tuesday. Was Tuesday?
Yep. National Chili Day was yesterday.
Like the food?
Yeah, well, I guess it might be the chili pepper thing. But anyway, so we're going to talk about all sorts of things like that. I would like to remind folks who are listening online or with the radio or whatever that this is a live stream program also. And if you go to our live stream thing, you can see all sorts of Mardi Gras and also the things that I brought. I brought a salad that I'm growing myself in an old colander. I got some seeds. I got some leaves to talk about. An answer to a question nobody ever asked.
Okay.
And, just odds and ends. Some things to check on. I brought some peas that I sprouted. So it's time to plant stuff, Java, but not summer stuff.
Not yet.
Not yet. We have a month, first part of April. Traditionally in the South, up north they say let's wait till Memorial Day to plant because that's when the soil is warm. Here we usually say wait till Easter. Well, Easter is the third week in April. It's too late. It's not too late, but we don't have to wait till Easter this year. We can plant sometime first part of April because that's when our soil warms up. The rains are warmer, less likely of a frost. So too early for tomatoes and peppers and squash and stuff like that. However, this past week I've been planting stuff. I planted English peas. Matter of fact, I brought some here to show. I don't know if we can get that on the camera. But I got me some English peas in the garden, but I've also got some in little pots I can transplant because they like cool weather. I also planted some potatoes yesterday. We'll talk about that kind of stuff. But we'd like to remind folks it's a live program. If you want to give us a call, it's toll-free 1-877-MPB-RING. We're going to start out right off the bat. We're talking in Jackson with Jim. Jim, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Felder. John Rosenblatt here.
Howdy. What's up?
Even though I'm not going to be planting tomatoes and peppers till April, I have a question about starting seeds indoors.
Yeah.
What type of artificial light do I need indoors for plants?
Well, if you have to, I mean, it's perfect for starting them outside. And you only have to bring them in during, if it's going to, get below about 45 or 50. But any kind of light that's got the warm bulbs, a lot of lights are cool white. Even the fluorescent bulbs, they're cool. We want a combination of cool and warm bulbs. So any kind of light that's got a little bit of yellowish cast to it. They have special grow lights, but a lot of times they cost more than the plants would cost. But grow lights are ideal. They have all the spectrum, all the wavelengths that plants need. If you've got fluorescent, you need to have at least one cool and one warm bulb to give the plants what they need. And it needs to be close to them. Plants can't see light from a foot or two away. It needs to be right up above them to get the energy they need.
And then I've got some indoor plants that do very fine, like philodendron, in rooms with no light at all, no outside light. Do some plants just not need light?
Well, a lot of these plants are jungle plants. They're used to growing in the shade, like under all the jungle canopy. They don't need as much direct light. Stuff we plant out in the yard, it needs a lot of energy. It needs real sunshine or good lighting. But a lot of plants, you say they're doing fine. If you see the same plant doing outside where it's got humidity and it's got some filtered real light, they'd probably be about 2 or 3 times better. So they'll get by indoors with some light, but the light needs to be really, really close. And the plants are going to suffer. It's like keeping a German Shepherd in a cage all the time. Yeah. So anyway, it'd be better to give them a little bit more light.
There was one year that my tomato seedlings got tall and stringy when they didn't get enough light.
That's right. It's an energy thing. It's like you eating nothing but salad. You're going to need some macaroni every now and then. So no.
Thanks so much, Felder. I appreciate the advice.
Appreciate it. Okay, that was Jim Rosenblatt. In Java, I can't get across to people that plants are living, breathing creatures.
Yeah, I can see that.
They can get by with less, but they're not happy and they're not going to be thriving. And it's almost from a Zen point of view, an abusive thing. But that's what we do.
I think too for people with plants, if it's not lush green, or maybe the lush, like you got this beautiful, what's that, kale with the purple?
No, that's actually a type of lettuce.
Well, if it's if it's not that purple lettuce, then it's dead.
Yeah,
but it's not. To your point, it's not dead. It's just getting by with less.
Yeah, it's thriving. It's almost abusive. Plants they're living, breathing creatures, and yeah, they can get by without fertilizer for years, but they're not going to be happy, and they're not going to perform well. If you're looking for performance, like you're trying to get the dog to do tricks or something like that. But if you want to get the most out of plants, I think Goethe, the German philosopher, he said a plant is like a self-willed man. You can get him to do anything you want as long as you treat him his own way. How about that? A little philosophy here on Think Radio.
There you go.
Let's go north of Jackson. I'm not sure exactly how far, but we're going to talk to Hansel. What's up, Hansel?
Yes, sir. How you doing today?
So far, so good. What you got?
I have a question. I have an infestation of pearl bugs. I'd like to know, do you have any information you can share with me about that?
Are they in your lawn? Are they in your lawn?
They're in my yard.
Yeah, and when you say pearl bugs, there is a type of a type of insect that feeds on grass roots. It's called pearl. But is that what you're talking about? I just want to make sure we're talking about the right critter.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's the right critter. That's the right critter.
Yeah, there are there's some insecticides you can use that for anything that'll control grubs or fire ants or things like that. They'll do a fair job. But the problem with the pearl bugs is they hatch out from eggs, and you put an insecticide down, and it may kill all that are active, but in 2 weeks, some more may hatch out from eggs. It takes repeated applications. You gotta, and if you can use a liquid, something that's for fire ants or grub worms, or something that's a liquid that mixes with water, you get better coverage, and you can soak it down around the plant roots. And if you do that, 2 or 3 times, I'm gonna say 2 or 3 weeks or so apart, that'll do a pretty good job of getting not only the ones that are there, but the ones that hatch out next week and the ones that hatch out the week after that. So it takes repeated. One shot ain't going to do it is what I'm saying.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. We'd like to mention, if you go online, go to the Mississippi State website. It's msucares.com or just Mississippi State, and in the search box just type in pearl bugs and it'll take you to a little publication on lawn care that addresses those a little bit more detail.
Okay, I will do that.
All right, Hansel, appreciate your call. Java, I sent some pictures, and I don't even know where they are now. I've lost them. Hang on, I'll call it right up. I got a little bit discombobulated here this morning, and I'm all right with it, but it's just, here we go, photos for broadcast. Here's what I sent you for February the 28th. Number 1 picture is called potato chitting.
Yes, I wanted to ask you about the potato chitting.
Yes, and I don't know if I've said this before. If you're planting Irish potatoes, which I did yesterday, we got a picture of the close-up. You cut the potatoes up into pieces about the size of an egg or so, each one with a little eye on it. And it'll heal over. It looks just really nasty and gray and moldy looking on the cut part, but it doesn't hurt the thing. When those little eyes start to sprout, like in this picture I've got here, you plant them. That's called chitting, okay, which I've always imagined pirates on a ship said, what you doing there? I'm chitting me taters. But anyway, once they start sprouting good, I planted some yesterday. I dug some, worked up the dirt in my raised bed pretty good. I dug holes about a shovel deep, not quite that deep, and I put these at the bottom, and I barely covered them up with a little dirt. So got half holes with a potato buried at the bottom.
Okay.
And as soon as, and I watered them, and these little buds are going to sprout out, and when they start sprouting and growing up through that little bit of dirt with the leaves, I'm going to cover that up. And when that comes through that, I'm going to cover that up. Every time the leaves poke through the little bit of dirt, I completely cover it up because potatoes will grow on the stems, not the roots of a potato plant.
Okay.
So you plant these, and if you don't want to plant them deep where they might rot, as they grow, as soon as the leaves come up, just completely bury it until you end up with 6 or 8 inches or a foot or so of stuff on top where there's dirt, or I'm going to use some dirt, I'm going to use some leaves. But as long as the stems are in total darkness, that's where the potatoes will grow. I'm also going to do some in some pots. I saved some of these chitted potatoes, and I put them in little pots. Where they sprout, I'm going to put them in like 5-gallon buckets, and as they grow, I'm just going to fill it up with pine straw or bark, and the potatoes will grow in that. And so when I'm ready to harvest, in about 3, maybe 4 months at the most, you just dump it out and you'll have a pot full of potatoes.
A pot full of potatoes.
Yeah, pot o' taters. A pot o' chitted taters.
Now,
Okay.
chitting, C-H-I-T-T-I-N-G. Okay, there we go.
That's right.
Now, Felder, before we go to our first break, we do have a question from YouTube I want to get to.
Okay.
This is AC. Well, I also want to say good morning to Danny and Pamela who hopped in the chat. And if you have a question on YouTube, you can leave it in the YouTube comments. But let's see. AC says, I have chicken manure saved in a tote from 2 years ago for my garden, but never used it. Is it safe to mix into my soil now, or best not to?
Go ahead and do it.
2-year-old chicken manure.
Yeah, it's just fluffy organic matter. It's just old compost. It's not going to have it'll still have some nutrients, but any kind of organic matter you add to your soil is going to fluff it up. Just like, and oddly enough, we've got this next the tune for today is called chili, because yesterday was National Chili Day, and I made some chili. Not that big a deal, but what I did, because the chili was a little dense chili, I crumbled up some crackers and I stirred it into my chili, fluffed it up. Okay, and that's what you do with your soil. You take the whether it's manure or compost or chicken litter or gin motes or bark or whatever, you don't plant in that. You add it to your dirt like crackers in chili. And if you get the idea, if you don't put at least a handful of crackers in a bowl of chili, you can't tell you added any. If you add more than 2 handsful, it ain't chili anymore. So if you got that concept down,
Crackers with sauce.
Yeah, if you got 1 or 2 handsful of crackers in a bowl of chili, you got the ratio of what to add to your dirt. So anyway, we're going to take a quick break and come back. I've got a couple of things to share, but the lines are open if you want to give us a call. It's toll-free 1-877-MPB-RING. Glad to chat with you about whatever's going on in your mind. And me and Java and all the other folks here at MPB, we welcome you, those who are listening and those of you who are joining us on live stream or on YouTube. Go to YouTube and then type in Gestalt Gardener and look at all this Mardi Gras.
Across the Magnolia State. Whether it's politics, healthcare, or education, you'll hear in-depth discussions on issues that matter to you. So join us each weekday morning at 8:30 on MPB Think Radio, or download the podcast, listen through the app, and online.
For this moment in Black history, we celebrate civil rights activist Ann Moody. Moody grew up in Centerville, Mississippi. After graduating from Tougaloo College, Moody became a full-time civil rights worker, participating in protests like the sit-in at a Woolworth's lunch counter in Jackson, where a mob attacked her and other protesters. Moody's autobiography, Coming of Age in Mississippi, is a powerful portrayal of life for a young African-American woman in rural Mississippi before and during the civil rights movement. This has been an MPB Moment in Black history.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bobby Rush. As a blues man, I love Mississippi Public Broadcasting. If you support Mississippi music and their local programming, donate now, right now, and become a member today, not tomorrow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Doesn't matter how big or small, but we prefer big. Thank you very much.
something that Abram just showed me. Somebody who wrote in somehow how to plant onions, how to rake pine needles off of naked ladies without damaging the plant. Pine needles on naked ladies, Java, only on MPB.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it.
Naked ladies are is a folk name for a type of bulb, Lycoris squamigera. It comes up in the summertime, mid to late summer, pink flower, no leaves. This reason called naked. Surprise lilies, magic lilies, resurrection lilies, whatever they want to call. But the flowers come up in the summer with no leaves. The leaves come up in the fall and winter. Mine are about maybe knee high now. And if you got a lot of pine straw, just gently rake it. They'll come up through the pine straw, so you may not have to rake it at all. But if you have them around there, you just need to rake it around the leaves. Don't knock the leaves over, because they're sending energy down to the bulb to make the flower for later this summer. But they'll come up through pine straw, unless your pine straw is like 3 feet deep or something. So anyway, I hope that helps. Hey, let's go up to over to Neshoba County and talk with Bill. Bill, what's up?
Hey, good morning. I have a question about moving some daffodils.
Okay.
Last year I tried to move daffodils, and the ones that I moved are all coming up fine, but it appears that I missed a bunch of them. Probably an equal number are still in the old place.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, can I dig them up now and put them where I want them, or should I wait until after they flower and their leaves begin to die, or what should I do?
It'd be better if you can mark the ones that are blooming really well. If they're blooming well, those, we know that those are good ones. If you can mark them, put a little stick, spray paint a stick yellow or blue or whatever so you can see it. If you could put something by each clump that's blooming, and then when the leaves start to turn yellow and die down, go back and find your sticks and dig up the bulbs that are there. That's the best, because they make their flower bud for next year after they finish blooming. It takes about 5 or 6 weeks. So a lot of people dig up daffodils while they're in full bloom because they just got to. And that's fine, but most of the time they'll skip a year blooming. So it's going to be 2027 before they bloom again. So if you can wait 6 weeks, you can save a year. So it'd be better. And if you want to mark the clumps and then just have to have instant gratification, cut the flowers, put them in a vase, and take them home and enjoy them. But it's best to not dig until after the leaves start to turn yellow and die down. Problem is, by then you forgot where they are. So go ahead and mark them if you can. If you want to dig them, move them, and you just got to anyway, dig the entire clumps. Don't divide the bulbs. Try to keep them intact so they still have leaves on them as long as possible. But interrupting them right now, cutting the leaves, braiding the leaves, digging them while they're in full bloom, it just cuts down the likelihood of them blooming next year. They'll survive, but who wants to wait 2 years?
Yeah, right. I can wait.
Good. Well, go ahead and mark the ones you want, because I can't tell you how many times I've seen some. I made a note. I'm going to go back and get those, and I'll go back, and I can't find them. So I got a little special mark. If you're around old home sites or any place, and you look around and you find some bulbs, and it's got a little broken piece of blue glass. I got some broken milk and magnesia bottles. I put a little piece of blue glass on the north side of the clump, just north of bulbs that I want, and I go back later and I find my piece of blue glass and dig up what's just south of there. So if you come across a piece of blue glass on the ground, those are mine.
Okay, I'll send it to you if I find one.
Okay, appreciate it, man. He's got a nice little bird going in the background, Java.
Yeah, I like that, Bill, out there in the show. Thanks for calling, and thank you to your bird.
Yeah. We talked about chitting taters a little while ago. It's time to plant Irish potatoes, but it's also a good time to plant cool season things. I've got a picture that I think I sent to Blake and Sahara of seed packets. I don't know if they did you forward that to them?
You never sent it to me.
Uh-oh. Well, anyway. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm just going to hold them up then. How about this?
There you go. We got the cameras in the
studio.
studio.
Got the cameras in the studio. I got all different kinds of lettuces.
Well, you know what, Felder? If you place them on the desk.
Oh, okay.
And then we kind of have a desk cam. So if you place them on the desk.
Like right there?
Yeah, and then they'll be able to
Man,
show them.
This is showbiz. Anyway, I've got different kind of lettuces. What I do, Java, is I take different lettuces and I mix the seeds together. and I put a little sprinkle of the seeds in little pots. And when it comes up, it's like a mixed salad in a pot.
That is something. Say that one more time.
Okay, I've got some green lettuce, I've got some flat lettuce, some curly lettuce, I've got burgundy lettuce, all different kinds of lettuces, and I mix the seeds up. See, it got tiny little seeds, and I mix the seeds up, and then I put a pinch of that mix in pots, just a little tiny pinch, and it grows into a little mixed salad. And within 3 weeks, you're eating it, or you can snip it off, and some of it will come back. But what I brought in today was a colander that belonged to my grandmother, a kitchen colander, which got a lot of holes in it, metal dish with a lot of holes. Filled it with some potting soil, and I put, let me see, I'm going to stand up here. I think we can do this.
Yeah, we can do it.
There we go. Do this. I've got burgundy lettuce. I've got yellow lettuce. I've got parsley. I've got little violas, which are edible. Just a little mixed salad growing in a colander.
Now the violas, those are like the ones, like the flowers.
Yeah, the purple and yellow things.
Yeah.
And so they're just, they're pretty. They like cold weather. They won't freeze. They'll grow right through the wintertime. And if we get us a hard freeze, not likely, but if we do, I just bring it in. But I put it outside. It looks like a little mixed bouquet. And I can snip on it and eat it when I'm tired of looking at it. I did accessorize. I don't know if you could tell, but I put some crepe myrtle branches and spray painted them green because, just because. And I put some little miniature bottles on the top. So I got a miniature bottle tree as an accessory.
So it's an edible. Now, if you put all of that on a white tablecloth table, you would probably charge like $100 for a Felder salad.
Yeah. Well, most garden centers got lettuces right now. We have plenty of time to grow stuff, but the idea is grow mixed lettuces in small pots. And if you start one like every week or two, you'll have a continuous supply. But they're just pretty. They're pretty. When you're tired of looking at them, you can eat them. And that the little bamboo crepe myrtle sticks with the green bottles, that's just for looks.
Those are the earrings of your.
That's right. That's right. Anyway, this is a good time to do that. One last thing, and I'm gonna put this on the desk. I found seeds of an antique radish. It's called Cincinnati Market Radish. Okay, they look like red carrots, right? Well, the thing about these, they're not just radishes, they're sweet. They're not hot like radishes. The kind of radishes we normally eat, they're kind of zesty flavored. These are sweet, almost sort of like carrots. There's an interesting Mississippi connection, though. Cincinnati Market Radish, which I got from a seed company, used to be called Long Beach Long Red.
Wait. We're going from Long Beach to Cincinnati.
Yeah.
What are we doing now?
About 100 years ago,
okay.
Little town on the Gulf Coast called Long Beach.
Understood.
Okay. They started growing these radishes because they could grow them in the wintertime, and they would ship them up north because these were food that guys at bars, instead of popcorn or boiled eggs or whatever, they sent this by the train carload up to places in Ohio and Illinois and Michigan as bar food, munchy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Matter of fact, they opened up a bank. They put a special train line in there. They opened up an ice plant in Long Beach to support this industry. Then they started growing them in Florida cheaper. But anyway, Long Beach, Mississippi got started as the radish capital of the country. And the official flag of Long Beach, Mississippi has got radishes on it. Now, isn't that a stupid thing to know?
Well, that is. I'm not going to say it's a stupid thing to know, but it is something to know. That is something to know.
Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to do that. Speaking of chili, I got this little cheesy tune thing. Or you want to do Mardi Gras, or you want to do the little cheesy tune?
No, let's do the cheesy tune because we're going to save Mardi Gras for next hour with with Next Stop.
Boy, I tell you, folks, put your seatbelts on. I have a picture here of my chili that I made yesterday. Right, got it put up on the thing, and it's crackers and all like that. But you see that trophy at chili, the Dixie National Chili Cook-Off. I got third place. Third place chili trophy. First place is too much trouble. Second place, who cares? Third place is I got a trophy. which means it's notable, but it doesn't have to be too good because it's just third place. This is called Taking Pride in My Mediocrity. Anyway, I found a little thing, just a little 60 seconds or so of a tune that's just simply called Chili. I'm horticulturist Felder Rushing. Me and Java Chapman and all the folks here at MPB, we'll be right back with more of the Gestalt Gardener after this.
Since 1970, MPB has been enriching the lives of Mississippians.
Everything we do gives us the chance to grow and learn.
With your support, we are always there whenever and wherever you need us. Together through the years, together in the future. Please consider making a donation at mpbfoundation.org. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Both seasons of the 10-Minute Timeout are now available on a variety of podcasting apps. The mini podcast can be binged in a day and is perfect for those that just want a quick listen. Join me, Lacey Alexander, as I sit down with special guests, revisit major moments, and give a platform to the athletes and sports that shape Mississippi. Head over to mpbonline.org to give it a try.
For today's moment in Black history, we salute Jackson State University. With such notable alumni as NFL great Walter Payton, Grammy Award winner Cassandra Wilson, and former Secretary of Education Rod Page, Jackson State University is a source of excellence in the Black community. Founded in 1877 as Natchez Seminary, later moving to the capital city and becoming Mississippi's urban university. We salute Jackson State University. This has been MPB's Moment in Black History.
Welcome back, horticulturist Felder Rushing. Usually we do a cheesy tune. It would normally be Mardi Gras, but the next hour, next stop, Mississippi, is going to be all about Mardi Gras.
Oh, so much Mardi Gras. We're going to have Epic Funk Brass Band live in the studio.
They're going to be in the studio?
In the studio.
We need to get them to do the Gestalt Gardener theme song.
Okay, well, we'll have to write that down.
Cool?
Write that down.
Yeah, I got some other things I want to share with folks, but it's a live program. It's a call-in. If you want to give us a call, it's toll-free, 1-877-MPB ring. Let's go down to Long Beach and talk to William. Hey, William, good morning.
Good morning, Felder. How are you?
I'm fine. What's going on, man?
Well, I just got in the car to go to work in Long Beach, and Long Beach work for me in Long Beach is my restaurant, Radish, and I heard you guys talking about Long Beach.
You have a restaurant called
your
restaurant called Radish in Long Beach?
It's called Radish.
Yeah, you have to explain that to some folks, but it's kind of a cool little story there.
It is, and we're happy to be a part of that tradition. We actually, the railroad plays into that, and they just ship so many of these things out of here because they don't spoil, they package well, and they're easy to grow. And we do a lot of that at the restaurant as well. We grow some of the original, I guess they're called Cincinnati Market radishes.
That's what they're called now, but back then, back then they were actually called Long Beach Long Red. And now the Cincinnati Market.
Yeah, so I just wanted to say hi, and I think that was really cool this morning to hear you shouting us out like that.
Well, let me ask you. You say you've been growing some of these. Do you grow them like in dirt or in pots or what?
Just in small container, like small raised containers. Yeah.
It's such a cool plant. From seed to harvest is about a month. They're real quick. Yeah. I gave a talk to a foodie group up at University of Mississippi. They had a bunch of foodies from all over the place. I gave a whole talk on this, and I had a local grower grow them so that everybody could actually eat some of them, and it took just about a month. Anyway, really cool, really cool. Next time I'm down there, I'm going to nosh. I'm going to do some noshing with you. So have you got on your restaurant thing, have you got the Long Beach flag with the radishes on it?
We don't, but I need to do that. That would be great.
Have you noticed that that's on the Long Beach flag?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
There you go, man. It's just marketing. Anyway, have fun. Appreciate you sharing that, William. Thanks.
You got it. Have a great weekend.
Okay, and let's go to Anna up in Oxford. Anna, how you doing?
Well, not yet. Anna's getting together. But we do have a couple questions we can knock out real quick from the YouTube live stream. We have a really active chat this morning. Let's talk to Jordan, who sent in a question. Let's say, I have some knockout roses, and to be honest, I've never done anything to them but trim them back. What is the best way to manage them during seasons? Currently, they look rough.
Yeah, and a lot of people haven't gotten around to pruning their roses or their figs. I pruned my fig yesterday. I'm going to prune my roses today or tomorrow. And a lot of people don't want to because these roses got new growth on them. You know, and say, you don't want to cut them off. No, if you're going to prune your roses, let's say back a foot or two, it doesn't matter whether you cut it off a month ago or now, you are going to cut it off. So don't let that new growth soften your heart. In general, shrub-type roses can be pruned back a third to a half. They can be cut back to a foot, foot and a half, 2 feet tall, and they'll spread out new growth, no problems at all. But I think it'd be better to go ahead and cut them back at least a third all the way around. And the rosarian people say you're supposed to prune a rose. Get this, Java. This is that horticultural esoterica stuff. They say you prune above an outward-facing 5-leaflet leaf. Okay, and I did this with my figs. If you cut right above a bud that's pointing a certain direction, the new growth will go that direction. So I prune my figs above little buds that are pointing outward because I want it to grow out like a bush instead of all cluttered. But with shrubs, you can prune roses with cherry bombs. You can prune with electric head shears. They don't care. It's not anyway. If you're going to cut them back a third to a half, try to do it in a dome shape like a snow cone. Don't just cut them straight across because the new growth comes out straight across. Just cut them in kind of a curved top shape, and they'll do fine. Even though they got new growth, let's go ahead and get the roses pruned. The only roses I would not prune this time of year are old garden-type roses, big shrub roses. They're not prune hard. Just sort of shape them up. And climbing roses like Peggy Martin, New Dawn, those that are climbing, they bloom. What's the one with the white flowers? I just draw a total blank on this. It's been around forever. Anyway, climbing roses bloom on what's out there right now. So let's wait till after they get through blooming to prune climbing roses. Now, that's for those of you listening in the South. This is the way we do it. Here, if you're listening up north, we're not talking to y'all.
Now, one more question from the chat. And I think this is kind of interesting. We have Ruth from Mabin said, I found a hammerhead worm in a bought bag of cow manure. Are these a problem in Mississippi?
They're not a problem. When I was young, I've always been kind of nerdy, Java, about nature and stuff like that. Hammerhead worms, they're not worms. They're called planarians. They look like long skin. They look like worms, but they're slimy and flat, like a cross between a worm and a slug. And they, instead of a head, they got this little shovel-looking thing, hammer-looking thing on the end, and it quivers around. They don't have a real head. So they're called shovelhead or hammerheads. If you go online about them, this says they're a serious problem. They kill earthworms. They have neurotoxins. It's not that big a deal. When I was a kid, I studied these. I played with them. I experimented with them. They're interesting. They're not from around here. And yes, they do eat other worms. Real worms, but they don't eat many. There's about 1 billion more worms than these hammerheads can ever possibly eat. Not that big a deal. It's not a problem. They do have neurotoxins, so don't eat them. And don't lick your fingers after playing with them.
No.
Just don't play with them.
Did you learn that from one of your experiments?
No. But anyway, they're creepy looking. They're really creepy, but they are a fascinating life form that Star Trek could never have come up with something this creepy. Doctor Who could have come up with something this creepy looking. But they're okay. They're not a big deal, and they're not new. They've been here at least since I was a kid, and I'm an old guy now. So anyway, not a big deal. If you go online, it's going to freak you out. Just calm down, relax. It's not that big a deal.
All right. Well, let's go to Oxford and finally talk with Anna.
Good morning, Anna. How you doing?
I'm doing just great. No energy because I'm old. But on the other hand, the garden is a mess, and we've really got to get to do it. But I have a question.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of moss, and it's nice-looking moss, in my raised bed. And which is going to win, the creeping phlox or the moss?
I would think the moss. Moss tells us that first of all, it's kind of shady, it's moist, and it's acidic, and none of that is good for phlox. So
okay.
but at the same time, it's real easy to just take a fork or something like that. You could do this and just sort of loosen. Yeah, just loosen up the moss, here and there. But the moss is telling me also probably every 3 or 4 years you need to put some agriculture lime in your beds, because moss is an indication that your soil is very acidic, and lime will correct that.
The moss is very attractive, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's a beautiful moss garden. Matter of fact, England has got almost as many moss lawns as they have regular grass lawns.
Yeah, I wish we would have a moss lawn as opposed to dirt. No, but the problem with the moss is also around my iris and things like that.
Yeah, it tells me that your soil is very compacted and acidic. So what I would do is I would scrape the moss off around those and sprinkle a little agricultural lime and lightly work it in, and that'll take care of two of the problems. Moss can't live unless they have compacted acidic soils and usually summer shade.
Well, right now it's got sun on it, but that's because there's no leaves on the trees.
That's right. But in the summertime, it's shade. Moss, when somebody says moss, I think compacted acidic shade, summer shade. Yeah. And that's not good for phlox or iris.
Yeah, it's funny because, we don't walk on it. It's in a raised bed, which it's not walked on.
Yeah.
And I wish I could transplant it somewhere where I'd like it, It doesn't transplant well.
Well, it can, because what you do is you just it's like slicing icing off of a cake and just laying it in other places.
Well, gonna have to give it the old college try there.
Yep.
And one more thing, my fig, I had a lovely fig, but we had a flood and then we had cold, and in this one bed, and it died.
Right.
So I broke ranks, and I ended up buying a dwarf fig, different brand, and I don't know where to put it. I don't know if I need to give it some all sun or part sun. It's gone from one stem to many, and I've got it in a pot, so I can move it around.
Yeah.
And I don't know too much about it.
Well, figs, I treat figs as shrubs. I prune mine to keep it compact. There's nothing on I'm taller than anything in my figs. I cut it back every year. They do best in sunshine. They like a nice wide hole. They have unusual shallow. They're native to the Mediterranean. They don't really like a lot of rain. So as long as it doesn't stay wet and it's kind of sunny, and if you'll mulch under it with leaves to keep the roots cool and moist and to feed them, that helps a lot. But I'll tell you this: they also like an alkaline soil. So. I'm here, and you say that you've got moss. So what I would do is I would work up a nice wide hole, spread the roots of your plants out, sprinkle a little lime on it, cover it with leaves, and it'll do fine.
So I should lime that. No, it's a strange section. Unfortunately, the water comes from above the hill, comes down and stays in there. Then when it gets cold, it kind of freezes, or then it goes under the house.
Yeah, well, okay.
Great.
Little deconstruction here. It's not a strange situation. It's just not. It's not a fig situation.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to find another place for it.
And oddly enough, I quoted this guy named Goethe earlier, and he actually, when I said treat a plant like a self-willed man, actually he said about figs. He said, if you say I desire a fig, I say, treat the fig like a self-willed man. Treat him his own way, and you can get him to do what you want. A little bit of lime, nice wide hole. Don't put it where it drains.
So peonies have a little lime too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, I live in Oxford. It's all acid soil around here, right?
Yep. Well, if you want to grow stuff, you need to put some lime around it. It's called gardening.
Yes, it is. I appreciate your help.
You bet, Anna. Thanks for calling.
Bye-bye.
She did have something interesting, and I want to talk about that in just a second. It's a question that nobody ever asked. But let's go down to Mobile and talk to Gene. Gene, good morning. What's up?
Man, I ask you the same question every year now. That's what take you tell me. Is this the time of year to put out your stuff to get stickers out of your grass?
Nope. Nope, stickers are already out there. You go out there, look like little fern. If you want to put something to prevent them, you put it out in the fall because the weed preventers pre-emerge kill weed seeds as they sprout. Once they sprout, the only control is to use a liquid spray. That's what they call a post spray. Anything that says it'll control dandelions or clover will kill sticker plants. But you need to.
Well, I thought you had told me that last year. My wife was sick at that time, and I wasn't able to deal with it. So I said maybe I misunderstood.
No. You have to spray now. But you need to get right on it because within a few weeks they're going to start flowering, and once they start flowering, they get harder to kill. If you want to control weeds in the lawn, the late winter, spring weeds, you need to treat them in January or February before they get big enough to be resistant to the weed killers. So if you want to do it, let's go ahead and get on it this weekend.
Just put some on that kills dandelions and take care of them then, right?
Yeah, don't overdo it. And, matter of fact, 2 light sprays a week or so apart is a lot more effective. This is chemotherapy. It's chemotherapy. You don't want to kill the patient. You don't want to hurt your lawn by overdosing on the weed killer. So, 1 or 2 light sprays early in the season, that'll do a fair job.
All right, appreciate it.
Okay, one other thing, Gene, and I can let you go without hollering at you. If you got stickers, they're telling me you don't have a good, healthy, thick lawn.
You're not telling me nothing I don't know, because I used to have beautiful St. Augustine grass. It's a long story. One day we'll sit over a case of beer and talk about it.
No, I've heard that story a billion times. It needs to fertilize sometime next month and raise your mower. You'll have a lot less.
My mower's what high as it go. I bought a lawnmower cut 4 inches, so that's what I use.
A little bit of good quality lawn food sometime in April. Well, Mobile, you can get away with it late March, but that'll thicken your grass up, and you'll have a whole lot fewer problems.
What would you use, 888 or something?
No. I would not use agriculture. I'd go ahead and get use the stuff they call centipede food. Centipede food is good for centipede St. Augustine, and if you balk at the price, make the bag go twice as far as it says it'll go. Half strength good stuff is better than full strength agriculture stuff.
Okay.
All righty, man.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
You bet. Java.
And now, questions to answers to unasked questions.
I got a branch off of a tree outside. It's an oak tree, and some oaks hold their leaves. They turn brown. Some other plants will do that too, like beech trees, American beech trees, yuccas thing. A lot of plants will hold their leaves over the wintertime, and people want to know why. And here's the answer. It's called marcescence.
Marcescence.
Yeah, M-A-R-C-E-essence. M-A-R-C-essence. It's when leaves stick on the winter. And there's a lot of theories about it. One is that these trees have learned how to hold their leaves until spring, because all the leaves that other trees shed in the fall are all gone. So they drop these leaves in the spring to protect the roots in the summer and feed them. Leaf litter. It protects buds from cold. But one of the most compelling thing is there's a lot of plants that have really tasty buds, and deer like to eat the buds. And some plants will keep their leaves on there because the deer won't eat a dry leaf, because it tastes bad.
Now, see, this goes back to earlier in the show when you told Jim plants. When you and Jim were talking, plants are a living organism.
Yeah, and get this. If you notice, the trees that hold their leaves, the brown leaves in wintertime, beeches and some kind of oaks and all, notice it's just the bottom parts that do it. Higher up, it doesn't do it, because deer can't browse there. This happens on the lower parts of the trees. Isn't this a stupid thing to know?
No, that is a great thing to know, man. More people need to know it.
Marcescence. Anyway, it's called thinking. I don't know if Blake or
Sahana, what they got.
How close can you get on this branch I'm caught from the back? Can you?
They're gonna squeeze in.
Okay, gonna squeeze in. What I'm doing is I'm showing how if you'll scratch the bark of a plant, just barely scratch the bark, it should be bright green right under there. If it's not bright green right under the bark, it's dead. The reason I'm saying this because a lot of people are getting reports from all over the state, particularly on the coast, of plants that look like they died and not sure what to do. If you don't know whether a plant is dead or injured for the winter or not, scratch the bark. And if it's bright green under the bark, it's alive. Give it some time to sprout out. But if it's brown up under the bark, that part needs to be cut out.
Now, I do have a question because this is from my own yard before we get to Pat in Meridian on the phone. I think I have a tree that's not bright green under the bark. Talk to me a little bit about tree removal.
Well, is it a whole tree, like a real tree?
It's a little baby tree, but it's
a little tree. You know, I'll come over and cut it myself. If I could scratch lady between the ears, that sweet puppy ear. But no, it's expensive to cut trees down. And if you've got trees that are dead in your landscape, if they're not likely to hurt anything if they fall, just leave them. It's perfectly okay to have a dead tree.
This was right at the edge of the property, so it's kind of on the street a little bit. It'll
look up. It's not going to take out a power line or crush your car or something like that. I'll just leave it because this is where they're called snags. Forest ecologists say they're real important. All sorts of wildlife live in them. But anyway, let's wait till spring. If it doesn't leaf out in the spring, it's definitely dead. But anyway, check the bark. If you're not sure if it's bright green, just give plants a little bit of time. And this is the thing to do this month. Just wait and see, and check the bark.
All right.
Now let's go to Meridian and talk with Pat. Pat, thank you for holding. How you doing?
You're welcome. I'm fine. And you?
So far, so good. I got off to a rough start because I was goofing off out in the parking lot getting stuff to talk about.
Having fun.
Yeah.
I have some Linton rose, and I'd love to have some more. So can I dig and separate this that I have, or can I root them? How do I get more without going out and having to purchase them?
Oh no, you can divide them just like you do daylilies. They have whole little plants. They tend to put up their new leaves in the late summer and the fall. See, so if you could go ahead and wait till they finish blooming because they're probably in full bloom right now. But if you'll either after they die down, or else in the late summer or fall, just make a mental note to dig them, divide them into smaller plants, and replant them. But I wouldn't do it right now because they're in full bloom.
Right, and they I don't think they die till like May or 1st of June.
That's
right. But I'll do that. I appreciate it.
Okay, well, appreciate it. And Linton rose, they're called hellebores. It's some really really terrific plants. It's one of the few woodland plants that does really well.
I love them.
Okay, well, appreciate it, Pat.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, now I can't tell if we got Roger on the line yet or not.
Not yet. Okay. Roger is coming, but I told you we got a pretty active chat if you want another question from YouTube. Yeah. All right, let's see. Jordan is asked a question. What is the preferred temperature range for survival of Italian cypress? We lost hours in the big freeze, and they are watching from Starkville.
Yeah, oddly enough, Italian cypress can take a good bit of cold. What it can't take is hot, dry, humid. And so a lot of these plants get set up in the summertime. They get weakened, they get root damage, and then they get pushed over the edge. They're too weak to take stuff. So, it's more of the summertime thing than it is the sudden hard freeze. So anyway, I don't have an exact temperature range because that's not a plant that does great here. We have a whole lot of really popular conifer-type plants that you see up in the Ozarks and the Smokies. All over Europe and Seattle, they like cool climates, which we don't have right here in Mississippi.
And then last question from the YouTube before we get to Roger in Florence. It said, Felder talked about the aged chicken manure could go straight in the garden. Can green horse manure go in, or do I need to age it, and how long?
I would use a horse manure on top of the ground, fresh stuff on top of the ground as a mulch. And after it sort of decomposes, breaks it down, then work it in. That's what I would do. Now let's see if we got time to talk with Roger from Florence. What's up?
Well, I wanted to read you a poem I wrote about 10 years ago for my wife about the stubborn beech.
Okay.
You mentioned beech trees.
Okay, but we only got a minute before the end of the program.
Well, it'll take about a minute. Beech trees drop off last of all. Until spring they won't fall. All the forest is clear, so the creatures all fear that their movements are seen before spring brings the green that hides them and their kind from man's efforts to find. But for cedar and pine one sees through a straight line. Only beech leaves remain to stop sunlight and rain. Now warm weather arrives and new creation thrives, and most beech leaves hang fair through the winter's last stare, and then litter the ground with the slightest of sound as they return to dust, as we all someday must.
Wow, that was very nice, Roger. That's a great way to sort of wrap up this program. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, Roger. That was, and I know Roger from Florence. He's a regular, MPB regular.
Okay, well, we got plenty of stuff to talk about, but we're going to have to put it off till next week. We're going to have to clear out of here, make room for a Mardi Gras celebration. Hang on to your hats. We want to thank Sahana and Blake, who are our live stream producers, Java, the awesome producer, and all the other folks here at Mississippi Public Broadcasting. I'm going to go home and plant some more peas. I chitted and planted my potatoes yesterday. I got a colander full of salad that you can grow too right now. Meanwhile, if you have a chance, go visit garden centers. It's a little early for tomatoes and peppers and stuff, but they've got some violas and lettuces and kales and stuff like that. A little bit early for fertilizing the grass, but if you want to control your weeds, now's a good time to spray. If you can find a farmer's market, they're starting to get cranked up, or a garden center, take a kid, pick up a neighbor who may not be as mobile. Go out and let's all do what we love doing the best, folks, and that's get dirty. I'm a horticulturist, Felder Rushing. See y'all next week, and be safe this Mardi Gras weekend.